Question number 13. Circle B below, we got diameter RT, radius BE, and we've got chord RE. It says if angle TRE is 15 degrees, that little sliver right there, and BE is 9, and I know that's the radius, it says then we need to figure out what the area is of sector EBR. So I'm going to highlight that in yellow. So ladies and gentlemen, this is our objective. But in order to do that, we're going to first need to mark up the diagram and make some connections. So I can see that BE is 9, and I know that it said a moment ago that angle TRE is 15 degrees, so that is this sliver right up here. So I'm going to label that like so. This is 15 degrees. And you know, now, when I zoom back out, I'm recognizing that this angle, TRE, it's an inscribed angle. And I know that because the corner or the vertex is sitting on the edge of the circle. And one of the things I remember about inscribed angles, and I'm actually going to sketch this out like so. Here's a circle. One of the things I remember is that A in red, we'll say, is equal to half of green B. So the angle is half of the intercepted arc, meaning that if this is 15 degrees, the intercepted arc, this arc right here, is not going to be 15. It's going to be twice as much. It's going to be 30. Oh, okay. That makes sense. And what I also remember is that angle TBE, this pizza slice right here, this is an inscribed angle. And I know that an inscribed angle is equal to its intercepted arc. So if the crust is 30 degrees of this pizza slice, then this angle right here is also going to be 30 degrees. And I'm going to zoom in to reflect that. Okay. So this is 30. And let's think about a couple things. If this is 30 degrees, and our objective is to figure out the area of this yellow sector, well, we're going to need to know the angle of that sector. And I know that if this is a linear pair, it's going to add up to 180 degrees, meaning that this angle right here, RBE or EBR, is going to be 150 degrees. Amazing. And so now we can go ahead and set up a proportion and identify the area of the sector. Okay, so here is how I like to do it. I'm going to set up a proportion, and I know that on the left side we're going to have degrees, and on the right side we're going to have area. And I know that on the top we're going to have part when we're setting up proportions, and on the bottom we're going to have whole. Oh, okay, that makes sense. So when we're talking about degrees, the part that we're interested in is the 150 degree angle of sector EBR, and it's going to be out of 360. That's the whole amount of degrees. All right, beautiful. And the area, that's our objective. That's the objective of the problem. And so what we're going to do is we're going to simply label this as X. That's what we're trying to solve for. And what is the area of this circle? Well, the whole circle, I'll recall, is pi r squared. So what I'm going to do is pi r squared. And for r, we're simply going to pop in the radius, which is 9. Amazing. I just love that. And so now what we're going to do is a little bit of cross multiplying. And I know that we could simplify this, but I'm just going to go ahead and multiply. And, you know, actually, I am going to pause, and I'm going to recognize that this is going to be expressed in terms of pi, and I can see that in 4 options. We've got pi, 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 pi. So we're going to leave pi as it is in here. So let's multiply 9 squared, the radius squared, which is going to give us 81. 81 times 150, and I regret I cannot do that in my head, so I'm going to use my handy-dandy calculator. 81 times 150, it's going to be a big number, and it is. It's going to be 12,150. Okay, beautiful. And 12,150 pi equals 360x. And so now what we're going to need to do is divide 12,150 by 360. And when we do, just so that we can see it. What is x? X is going to be 33.75 pi. You guys, you just figured out, the correct option is 3. In right triangle RST below, we've got altitude SV drawn to the hypotenuse, Beautiful. And it also says that if this is a right triangle, this is going to be a right angle. Okay, beautiful. It says that if RV is 4.1, beautiful, and TV is 10.2, our objective, what we need to figure out, is the length of ST. So our objective is to figure out this length right here. Well, here is what I know. This is a right triangle, and we know one side. If we're able to figure out the second side, we can apply the Pythagorean theorem to determine the third side, or the hypotenuse. And here's how we're going to do that. I'm actually going to make a copy of this triangle. And here's what I know, ladies and gentlemen. This is the formula that we're going to want to apply. And that's this. If we've got 3 overlapping triangles, right? We're going to split the left side and the right side. And what I know is left side times the right side equals the altitude squared. So I'm going to write that again up here. This is going to be our formula, and you absolutely need to know this. Okay. Left side times the right side equals the altitude squared. Sometimes we'll say things like L times, or M times N equals L squared. You can really express this any way you want. And so here's what I know, guys. If we're able to apply this formula, then we can easily figure out then what the altitude, aka SV, is. So let's do that. We're going to do 4.1 times 10.2, left side times the right side, equals the altitude, which we don't know, so we're simply going to call it x squared. And so I'm going to use my handy dandy calculator, and I'm going to punch this right on right now. 4.1 times 10.2 is going to give us 41.82 equals x squared. And so now what we're going to need to do is take the square root of this, and give me one quick second. Okay, and we're going to get, when we take the square root, x is 6.47. Okay, beautiful. So we just figured out what this altitude is, 6.47. And so now we're going to simply apply the Pythagorean theorem. Easy. And so I'm going to set that up right now. All right. A squared, 6.47, plus b squared, 10.2, gives us c squared. All right. All right, guys. 41.8 plus 10.2 squared. It's going to give us 104.04 equals c squared. When we add these up, it's going to give us 145.84. Okay. I'm just going to do it right here. C squared equals about 145.84. And so now what we need to do is take the square root of both sides, because we need to figure out what c is, right? And when we do that, it's going to give us c equals 12.077. And is that an option? It sure is. Option 4.